Hi, so we are, who are you?
Karen.
And I'm Nick. And this is sort of a brief introduction to our new channel, A Place to Dream. Sorry, A Time to Dream. And right now we are standing in a place which is rather good for that. What's it called?
It's called Dover's Hill in the Cotswolds. And basically, I retired last July after a long career in teaching and education. And Nick, do you want to say what you're doing now?
I'm sort of what you would call semi-retired because I'm actually an author. I write right now. I write crime books under the pen name J.R. Sinclair, and so this is a new chapter for us both, and this will be our sort of going to sort of share our thoughts about the sort of thing you can do in this sort of what Japanese refer to as like the third age of life, which is really rather exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I when I came up to retirement, everyone said, "Oh, you're retiring," and I absolutely hated that word. And I actually Googled it, and certainly online, the Cambridge Dictionary defines it when you give up work because you're too old. And I just hated that because I don't feel too old, and I think this is a time of freedom, a time to focus on ourselves. As well as looking after our friends. And then we came across this concept of Kanreki or Kanreki in the Japanese culture. And that's all about taking the decade from 60 onwards as a rebirth, because you kind of live through all the 60 years through the zodiac and you've come back again, so you're like a child being reborn with freedom because you don't have your responsibilities. Obviously I've got a stepson, and that's Nick's son. We've got responsibilities there, we've got responsibility to family and friends, but actually we've got they're pretty grown up now, so we've got a sort of new sense of freedom, and that's what we want to explore in this video. Hiya, we're back in the camper van now, having had our lovely walk.
Or as I like to think of it at the moment, our mobile studio.
Ah, yes. So we've been and done our homework because we were unsure how to pronounce that Japanese word when you hit 60 and you want to sort of relaunch your life, and it is Kanreki. I think that's correct, isn't it, Nick? Kanreki.
Yes, Kanreki.
So one really important part of this stage in life is thinking about, what went well, what have been your successes, what made you happy, as well as thinking about, maybe what didn't go quite so well, and thinking about why didn't it, and thinking what you can learn from your last 60 years. So the reflection part's really important as this part of Kanreki. So we have been, beginning of the year and everything, we've been really taking this seriously, and we've been sort of setting some life goals, well, more year goals really, aren't they?
Absolutely.
What we've set as part of this.
And for us, and for so many reasons, and we'll probably talk about this in sort of future videos, but we haven't been able to do much in the way of sort of travel for the last 4 or 5 years. And now we're just about to be able to start to do that again. So we're sitting right now in our really very swish camper van, which is part of that new stage of life adventure for us. And this is us really embracing this time, and as part of that we'll be doing international travel as well. So certainly one of the cornerstones for us of this third stage is travel,
and also self-discovery, learning particularly for me, learning what I do enjoy. What do I want to do with the next stage of my life? Because I absolutely adored my career. I loved teaching. I loved the management responsibilities I had in different roles. And I sort of feel I ended on a real high with my career. I didn't walk out feeling drained. I left feeling sort of energised. But it didn't leave much room for any other hobbies. So I need to go on that journey of self-discovery and see, what I do want to do, I know I want to travel. And I think during that, travel at home or abroad, I will discover other things that I'm interested in and can contribute to.
I think part of what this is for us is that this sort of this stage of our lives is really a really positive one, and we're really trying to embrace it in that spirit. So I'm very fortunate because I'm a writer. I've made my hobby my my career. So that's not something you normally give up when you're a writer. I know I've always joked I'll probably die with a quill in my hand, but my point being is I love what you do, and I certainly do. So there's no real need for me to give up completely. So I'm writing part time now, but I'm very keen for Karen to really have the same opportunities that I've had,
and not annoy him when he's writing,
and to not annoy me, and to really embrace this time to explore what makes you tick and what you love doing.
Yeah. And I think what particularly appeals to us about this Japanese idea of Kanreki is the fact that it's a very positive idea. It kind of bucks a trend of what I would think is the Western traditional way of viewing retirement, which is like you're winding down. So we don't want to wind down, and there's so much evidence now that actually at this age we should be winding up. We should be really focusing on health and exercise and looking after our bodies. And I remember watching on some podcast, someone said, if an old lady's carrying a suitcase, let her carry it, because actually that's the best thing she can do for her health. So, we don't agree with the Western idea of like quietening down. We want to sort of embrace this Kanreki and embrace new perspectives on aging.
I think, just to clarify there, when you say a Western idea of retirement, I think maybe that's the older Western idea of retirement, which is, let's face it, fairly sedentary if people weren't careful. Not always, of course. There were people who've always sort of got out there and with their lives, and I think your parents were fantastic examples of that.
But I do think there's a lot of ageism around still.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And want to fight the corner for the older person who's still got a lot to offer. So, what do you think? Do you think this sort of decade and future is all about sort of relaxing and spoiling yourself and maybe not doing as much? Or do you think it's about, renewing yourself and setting yourself new challenges? Be really interested in your thoughts, because we're learning along this way. We don't know the answers, so we'd love you in a way to join us on this journey, to help us explore it and find out, your thoughts as well.
And it'd be great to maybe even build up a community around this. But I'm not saying there's obviously communities out there doing this sort of thing. But really, join us on this journey of discovery. I'm sure it's going to be really intriguing. We'll be taking you with us as we sort of get out there in the world again, and let's explore this wonderful new era of life together.
Absolutely.
And with that, I think we can sign out.